Young Justice Season 4, Episode 7. And last week, Chuku, you said that was your favorite episode of the season. This one is my favorite episode of the season so far.
Interesting.
Let's get into the hot topic, which I think is Orphan's origins. So we got Cassandra Kane, and we get to learn a lot more about her. If you've never read the comics like me, and I don't think you've read any of the comics with her.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. So this is like our first sort of intro, which most likely is not like completely accurate to the comics, but it was interesting to get to learn more about her. The number one thing is that they decided to retcon the Killing Joke, where Batgirl basically got shot by the Joker. And instead, now it's tied in with how Orphan sliced her spine. And now that's what caused her to lose her walking ability.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't mind it because it actually, number one, it connects Batgirl. Because it's like, you know, we've been wondering what the hell what happened to her. Although it's funny that we're getting a lot of Batman stuff, because I thought we were going to save that for the Dick Grayson arc. But it looks like they're adding this in because Oracle, her character plays an important role in this episode. As far as Orphan goes, it's very interesting to see this. I do feel though, much as it's cool that we're getting her backstory, I do feel like, I don't want to say it's derailing from the main story because it does play an important role, but I do feel like now I'm hoping we get more about Oracle next episode, because if they just play this off here and then we don't get much, it just seems like a quick, like, because the way Batgirl's saying like, oh my god, this girl's special to me, it's like I don't feel it. So like I want more of a feeling.
I get you. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like, so far she just got sliced by her, so I don't know why she should feel for her.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
but I'm sure after that they went through a lot. So you're right. I think they need to show more of that. Otherwise, it's sort of just a little fluffy. You know, it's just her saying she's like my sister or something.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
We don't get any background with that. But I do find it really interesting because for me personally, I thought the Killing Joke was an interesting story for sure, but I always hated the fact that she got shot by the Joker, and Joker just got away with it. Or, you know, obviously he got put into prison, but he got released again, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just never, that story to me, I always disliked it for that reason, that the Joker like made Barbara Gordon just not Batgirl anymore. But having it retconned in this way, I actually don't mind it because I feel like it makes the characters more connected. And even though like I did a little bit of research afterwards, and Orphan's origins are very similar to what they are now in terms of her like essentially running away from the mission that we heard from Shiva. Like Shiva was saying how, oh yeah, we tasked you with the mission and then you completely failed it and went to the bad guys, or the actual good guys.
The actual good guys, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the same as the actual origins in the comics.
Okay.
In the comics, I believe she actually successfully killed the guy. so from there, like she had this guilt, and then Batman took her under his wing and then helped her out, basically. So it was very interesting to see the differences, because this episode made me super curious about like the actual comic origin, because I was like, okay, they're retconning Killing Joke. It's not really a retcon necessarily because Young Justice doesn't follow like the comics.
Yeah.
But in some ways it's like they're just changing it up from the comics, and I was interested in seeing how.
I like how, although this is not completely related to Oracle, but it does, related to Orphan, but it does kind of relate to what Batgirl said. I like how they mentioned Jason Todd in this episode. So that was a nice shout out. I was like, finally, they're actually going to mention his name, you know?
I mean, they mentioned, I guess they didn't say his name, but we did see the Robin hologram.
Yeah, we did.
But next to Blue Beetle and Tula.
Time. Yeah, but I'm hoping that mention is a foreshadow that's gonna come later in this season. So I'm hoping.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna show us more Jason Todd, and hopefully he's not gonna be a complete zombie. Because right now he just seems like he's just standing there.
He's very.
He's not the true Red Hood. You know, Red Hood is like.
We're hoping this is where Red Hood story is gonna come in. This is gonna be the beginning of the Red Hood story. That's what we're gonna.
They gotta do Red Hood justice, because like he's one of my favorite anti-heroes.
Yeah, definitely. But as far as this, we also get to see Joker, which we haven't seen since season 1. I thought, I'm not gonna lie, I still don't like this Joker.
I agree with you completely. I'm not a fan of this Joker. Like, he's too. I know in the Batman animated series, like that Joker was also silly and whatnot. But again, going back to the Red Hood, I much prefer the Joker in the Red Hood movie. Like that is like the perfect animated Joker to me. Like he's funny, but in a very, very dark way and not a silly way.
Yeah, I think I know where they were going with this Joker because they wanted to play off the whole sadistic side. So it's not like he's like funny, he's just weird. But I feel like in this point, and there are moments like, for example, like the part with the gases and whatnot where you're like, okay, this guy's a threat. So it's like every time he does, like for whatever reason, when even if he fails, he always has a way to, he has a kill safe or whatever to destroy people. But it's
Fail
just
safe.
Fail safe, yeah. I'm calling it kill in this case because it's Joker. So, but my problem here is just the way the performance comes off, and I respect the actor because I think that he's doing I guess for what they're trying to go for, he's doing a good job. It's just for me, it's just not the Joker I like. It's just to me, he comes off as a cringe most of the time. So
yeah, I just thought he was monologuing for too long. Like
that's another thing.
That scene with him talking, the television set, it was too long. Like they pacing wise, like they should have cut some of that because it got kind of boring.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was one of my least favorite parts of the episode, actually.
yeah, the Joker and his bad jokes, if you will. But other than that, I guess this goes into a bigger, I mean, it's funny how you said the reveal about Orphan's origin story, because we got the big reveal of who's the mole finally. So
yeah, and I was completely wrong.
We both were wrong. I was 100% sure it was Orphan, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you got it through my head that Orphan may still do something that's like questionable, but I do think that it makes a whole lot of sense in hindsight that Vandal Savage's daughter was the mole.
It does.
Yeah, Cheshire was wrong. She was just wrong. I trusted her and she was wrong. That's all I can say.
I mean, it's tough because it's like, I don't know. It's like, I know the show's gonna go in a good, like maybe next episode they're gonna reveal like how she was able to pull it off. But like, I don't know, at that moment, any one of them could have been the mole. My theory was that they weren't moles and Orphan was the actual mole.
Gotcha.
So that was the whole point. So I thought that was gonna happen and they actually weren't moles. But yeah, one of them, like you said, had to be the mole. So that's interesting. So I'm hoping to get more details behind that, because even as a viewer, it's like, we know this show likes to give us context clues that we didn't notice earlier. And it's like, actually, we knew this was the mole. You just didn't pick on it. So I want to see what clue they have now.
The arm for sure, you know, like the glamour charm covering up her arm.
Yeah, that's such a good callback. Like, I was like, wow, this show knows how to do this show really knows how to play its callbacks very well. So
yeah, but I didn't know the glamour charm like made it so that the arm is literally not there. I mean, like they could have, I'm sure they checked, right? Because that would have been very bad if they didn't check her arm.
That's true. But I don't know. I guess it's like their suspicion was more about the lie than it is about like anything else. Like they didn't think, why would she lie about that, or at least have a spell. You know, I don't think people would assume that.
And I feel like Cheshire coming back was definitely a 100% thing. Like from last week's episode when she said mad as a hatter and then she just left. Like from that moment I was like, okay, she's coming back. She's gonna be part of the mission. Yeah,
it's interesting too, because I feel like everyone knew she was gonna come back, but we just didn't know when she was gonna come back. So she came right at that moment, which was it was a cool moment. So
yeah, it was kind of quick though. I kind of wish it was a bit more climactic. It kind of just like brushed past and didn't get like a huge acknowledgement, but that's fine. Fine. It was a good scene overall.
It was.
Like the final scene where they were all fighting gave me like Beetleship vibes from season 2.
Beetleship. Oh, I know how you feel.
When they were trying to like save the hostage or save the people that got captured by the Reach. On their ship, and then they tried to bounce after that. But it's sort of similar in the sense that they're trying to rescue someone, but less frenzied and less people.
Less people. That's true. But what I like about that, especially with the ending, is like it can go either way. Like you do feel like how they're gonna get away with this one now. So it's like that's why I like. It's the same thing where it's like you don't know how they're gonna get out. So Yeah, you brought that up to my attention.
Yeah, should be interesting to watch next episode. They ended it on a cliffhanger, which is always fun, I guess.
Yeah, definitely a good cliffhanger. But this kind of reminds me about I don't know why this kind of propped this up, but it kind of reminds me about like the whole the beginning episode or at least the beginning part with the Mars stuff, because we're starting to get more story behind what's happening with Mars, and apparently McGann is still. Did we speculate McGann still being on Mars yesterday?
Yeah.
On the last? Okay,
yeah, we did.
Okay,
we did.
that was good. I was just making sure. So yeah, we saw that she would be devastated, which was the case, and the point where she's about to almost attack her brother.
Yeah,
But
I'm just curious to how Beast Boy got back so quickly. Maybe he turned into something that doesn't need oxygen, and then
I'm pretty sure he could have
Superman
went with,
flew him back.
Yeah, exactly. He must have went with Superman or something. Yeah, that's true. How did Beast Boy get so fast? Or maybe the Zeta tubes got fixed quickly. But then again, why are they flying out there? So that makes no sense because they're flying back.
That's that's weird to me. I don't know. I'm sure it makes sense in some ways, but they just didn't explain it. But
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to. I don't know why I always gripe on the show. It was a little bit weird that in the first scene where or at least the first scene that had John with McGann, he just wasn't talking. So I was like, oh, here we go. Them trying to save that animation again with him not talking, but then eventually he started talking. So I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. So I forgive it that.
And I'm interested in seeing how her sister like can come into the story.
Yeah,
like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing.
And like the first scene that we got at Mars, I was kind of like, when she was like, who should I blame? Who, like, if it's not her brother's fault, like who to blame? Dude, the guy just went into a boom tube. Like, blame Darkseid. That's
exactly.
It's so
that's what
obvious.
I was wondering. Yeah,
I was like, girl, just blame Darkseid. What are you doing?
Yeah,
like, it's so obvious.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering when they were trying to figure out the mystery behind it, because he was talking to Hawk Girl about it, and I'm like, are they not going to mention that there was a boom tube? Wouldn't that clue Darkseid?
Like, he had a father box, guys. It doesn't take a detective to know this.
That's why we need Batman there. He should have talked to Batman, not Hawkgirl. But yeah, that was a little bit odd. But
yeah. And like, she was reading his mind too. She could have at least tried to dig a little deeper and see that he talked to Desaad.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I don't know, man.
Maybe her emotions really take over.
Maybe, but it just seemed kind of silly to me.
Yeah, definitely a little silly. But I will say it's funny because they didn't really have much fights. So because they didn't have much fights, I was able to forgive a lot of the animation stuff. Like, for example, with the flashbacks, like it actually worked with their kind of scene with the whole not Joker trying to destroy the UN. Yeah. So it worked really good with their little like still stuff.
And it's nice to see everyone like actual Tim Drake, Robin, and Spoiler and the others, just seeing everyone.
I know, we finally get a scene with all Batmans, well, except for Batman was there, so we get the whole Batman family in the whole scene. That I like that.
Yeah,
it was definitely a nice thing.
Question to you: how'd you feel about the voiceover that Artemis did? Like, it was during when they were diving in the ocean, and also at the very end when they were fighting.
So it's interesting because it seems like this whole arc we've been getting voiceovers of Artemis. So I kind of, part of me liked it because it seemed like it was playing off to the theme of the episode, which is like, who could I trust, right? It's like a question of trust, and it's like, one door leads you to a desirable route, another door leads you to an undesirable route. So I felt like it was kind of like a theme going on, and I didn't mind it at all, personally, to me, considering that we've been getting voiceovers since the beginning of this arc.
I mean, this one was a lot more prominent to me because the other ones were more like towards the end, like the end of credit scene. Yeah, this one was kind of like smack dab in the middle. So I found it a little bit strange. I don't necessarily dislike it, but it just felt kind of out of place a little bit in the middle. But it's fine. It's like whatever's.
I don't know. I guess for me, as long as it's established in the beginning, because I remember literally. Well, okay, that's funny because I remember because the beginning, I think it started off with the Mars stuff. So the first scene that has Artemis. And, basically the first thing that has Artemis, it established that voiceover thing. So I think as long as it establishes that, I don't really see
Yeah.
it as an issue. But
Who do you see behind the door?
who do I see behind the door? That's an interesting question.
Yeah. What does your mind like?
I was thinking
Go
Wally
to.
because he said a
Wally,
attractive
what?
person. She said an attractive person who she cannot
Okay,
trust. So
I wasn't expecting that answer.
Yes.
I see the tiger. I see the tiger.
You see the tiger. You see the tiger.
Yeah.
Are they? Who do you think they're talking about?
Oh, it's just like some excerpt from like an actual writing, you know?
It is, but I think again, shows don't say that unless they're trying to connect a point. So who you think they're referring to when they open the door? They're gonna get a tiger or the handsome dude.
I don't know. I didn't think about it that deeply.
Okay.
I sort of just took it as like, a cool voiceover that they were doing for fun.
I don't know. I feel like maybe they're referring to Orphan, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so before we close off the video, we're going to read some comments. All right, let's start with Zach. He said, Magan would not be in the right headspace. Nice one. That was actually something you said last episode.
Yeah.
I don't think you meant it in that way, but because it's kind of funny because she's a telepath and also.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
hilarious. I get the pun.
Yeah, and he said Briom is inviting metahumans to Markovia while being under the persuasion of the ambassador, who's part of the light. It means that a lot of disgruntled metahumans who are all angry for their countries mistreating them will now be under the light's control and so on. That's a very interesting theory. I honestly feel like Briom will have redemption in the season. I hope he does. So once he finds out that, or I'm sure they're going to find out that in some way that he's being manipulated. And from there, maybe by then they'll already have like a metahuman army or something that's under the light's control or influence. But I'm really hoping that Briom gets some sort of redemption.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea that Brion has his own metahuman thing. Because one thing about this show that's kind of been sort of a big theme is like, basically the whole show theme is the whole idea that just because we're not the Justice League doesn't mean we can't be heroes. And I feel like Briom creating his own metahuman army. I don't see Briom being, I mean, sure, he killed his, his uncle, but it's like, I don't see him being this guy who's gonna like, oh, let's just go kill people or murder people. I think he wants to actually do good. So I think as long as they have their own little thing, I wouldn't mind that. And I actually think that'd be cooler.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you. I just hope that they figure out that he's being manipulated and that he gets some sort of forgiveness or some sort of like reconnection with the team. That's all I mean by redemption.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
And then Zach also said Black Lightning felt so guilty about accidentally killing a child. What is he gonna do in the Justice League when like whole families are persuaded to do the light's bidding? So assuming that the light actually does manipulate Markovia and the metahumans there, what is Black Lightning gonna do? Because he's the leader of the Justice League
he's
now,
the leader,
which is still very, very weird to me. I'm curious to how that's going.
Yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do. I mean, I thought his whole thing is that he doesn't want to go against the rules, so he's gonna follow the rules. But I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting question, honestly.
Yeah, the best we can do is speculate, and I honestly think Black Lightning is just gonna probably not try to be confrontational with anyone.
That being said, if I remember correctly, at the end of season 3, Batman said Batman did not conform to Black Lightning completely, so Batman might do something. But as far as the league,
yeah. Okay, Seth said, I realized the structure of the whole show from this episode. They're doing one story at a time. I'm not sure if this is a good or bad thing. I just know it's messing with another show I'm watching, so we'll see. Well, what show are you watching, first of all?
Yeah, what show is he watching? I'm curious.
And also the structure, I think they're sort of meshing it together now, which from this episode, because they did the Mars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually glad about that. I commented back and I said that I personally prefer like when the stories are combined.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as they deliver good episodes, I'm cool with it. Whatever style they want to do for structure.
Yeah, so this is interesting because on one hand, I do like the idea, and I've never been against that. In fact, that's partially what I loved about Young Justice, and what made it unique from all the other shows was that it was having all these other superhero shows, all these other stories going at the same time, and you see how they're all connected. But on the other hand, with this episode, I feel like I would have liked this episode more better if it was just focused on the whole the main storyline with Artemis trying to trying to save Orphan, because I feel like we could have gotten more backstory and more. A lot of things that I had issue with this episode, not that I hated this episode, we would have got more if they took away the Mars stuff. Not to say the Mars stuff is bad, but it's just like, you get my point. It's one of those things.
No,
where
it's cool, man. You can say the Mars stuff is bad.
Well, for this episode specifically.
If you haven't seen our previous discussions, I personally did not enjoy the Mars arc that much, but yeah, you guys can check out my thoughts in those videos. But overall, I'm enjoying this arc a lot. And the reason I like this episode a lot is because things are actually like happening. Things are, we get to figure out who the mole is. We get more backstory of a character that is pretty interesting. We get to see the Bat family. There's tension now, like what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And, like there's fighting, and we still don't know what's going to happen with Cassandra Kane. And also Savage's daughter. Like I feel like there's more to it. Hopefully, I don't know, hopefully there's like some more explanation to why they decided to choose her for the mole, you know, and stuff like that. So that's why I really like this episode, because it felt like Young Justice, and at the same time there was progression, a lot of it. And also it reminded me a little bit of the Beetle ship fight, which I loved. That's such a great episode from season 2.
It is that episode. There's so many major reveals that it changed the whole story of season 2. Still
better than this episode for sure. That season 2's like the Reach storyline is just really great. So we'll see what comes of this one. So
all right, funny that you bring up how much you're enjoying the season, because Lifeline says, are you all enjoying the season more than season 3? I know I am. Season 3 was so bad, especially the second half. So it's funny he brought this up, and I actually, when it comes to season 3, well, number one, this season hasn't finished completely, but when it comes to season 3, I'm going to defend the first half because I really enjoyed the first half. Like, I didn't think the first half is really bad. It was just the second half that was like, what the hell were they doing? So that's the one I said. And as far as if we're really going to compare it as far as what we got so far, I still would say, well, I mean, up to this point, because these last 2 episodes, I mean, the last 3 episodes have been amazing, but these 2 episodes for sure have definitely got me connected. I would still say those, if we're comparing the first four episodes, I like the first 4 episodes of season 3 more than these first 4 episodes. I'm sorry, but going back to the Mars arc, it's just that Mars arc. I'm sorry, but that didn't really get me much excited. It just got me kind of like, we mentioned our problems with it in our first video, so you gotta watch our first review on Young Justice. But if we compare those episodes to the first episode we got in season 3 with the whole Black Lightning killing somebody and then trying to go into Morkovia and figuring out this whole mystery and whatnot, that to me was way more engaging and interesting than the Mars arc. So again, we don't know how the season's shaping up, so I may change my mind. Maybe we might do a whole first half when it's done and compare which was better, first half of season 3 or season 4. But as of now, I have to say season 3, because we finished season 3, I liked season 3 so far more. But we'll see what happens, because these last 2 episodes have been really good.
Yeah, and I was the one who commented back, so you know my thoughts on that already. But yeah, that's pretty much it, right? Any other thoughts before we close off?
No. I mean, it was a good episode. I definitely still like the earlier. I liked episode 6 more, but you know, it's still a good episode. 7's still good.
For sure. All right. So if you leave your comment down below, we'll read it in the next episode. And if you enjoyed our discussion on this episode, consider giving the video a like and subscribing. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.